Over a century ago, a regiment of African-American soldiers accomplished the extraordinary.
The story of the Harlem Hellfighters is the greatest story you've never heard.
It's a story about sacrifice, and ultimately, it's a story about survival. What does it mean to fight to make the world safe for democracy when democracy is not safe for Black people in the United States?
In the face of near impossible odds, these men proved themselves in the field of battle amidst the bloodiest, most devastating war the world had ever seen. It's 1918, and 4 years of World War has ravaged France.
By 1918, the French and British have experienced millions of casualties.
The 369th had been deployed to help the French repel the German spring offensive and hold the front line. James Reese Europe finds himself stationed there during a French night raid. After getting his first experience of the horrors of modern war, he makes it back alive, but not unshaken.
The night raid of James Reese Europe is the determining moment for him because he wonders, what did I get myself into? It's very typical of the experience of most Americans who thought this was going to be a grand adventure. They had no idea what was waiting for them overseas.
As the men of the 369th confront the grueling realities of modern war, back on the home front, the American public eagerly awaits news about the soldiers overseas.
All Americans were hungry for individual exploits.
No one would have thought a 5'4", 120-pound man would be the hero that America was looking for. But that's who they end up getting in Henry Johnson.
Henry Johnson was from Albany, New York. He was relatively unknown until the night of May 15th, 1918. In the early morning hours, Henry Johnson was part of an observation team located along the Meuse-Argonne region.
Observation posts are about 30 yards out in no man's land to detect if there's movement on the enemy side. Johnson and another private, Needham Roberts from New Jersey, are in this post out in front one night when they hear movement.
Was that rats? Maybe. But they heard it again and again. And there was no mistaking somebody was snipping through the barbed wire coming for them.
He immediately sent up a flare, and before they knew it, a group of German soldiers, a raiding party, attacked. Needham Roberts was severely injured in the initial stages of the attack.
The Germans are lobbing grenades and shooting. Johnson is hit several times.
Henry Johnson's rifle jammed. He took it, wielding it as a weapon, attacking another German soldier.
He looks, there's Roberts. Roberts, who is being carried away by Germans. Johnson has no weapon on him except his bolo knife. He draws it and leaps at them like a 1980s action hero. He rams the blade through the skull of a German.
Henry Johnson was severely injured. Needham Roberts was handing him grenades. He was throwing them at the Germans.
Finally, the French show up to save them. When the dust clears, when the sun rises, it turns out that Johnson almost single-handedly has fought off between 25 and 40 Germans.
This became known as the Battle of Henry Johnson.
And after his exploits, a group of American journalists arrive at the camp, and they ask around, is anything going on here that we should know about? And somebody says, well, we had a little skirmish the other day. And they said, well, tell us about it.
The Battle of Henry Johnson spreads like wildfire.
The newspapers are full of Henry Johnson. Henry Johnson is the man.
Henry Johnson is really the first infantry hero of the Americans in World War I.
He receives the French Croix de Guerre, which is the highest award they can give a soldier.
It's tremendously significant that this hero is a black soldier after a period when people have been maligning the capacity of black soldiers. To hold up Henry Johnson and Needham Roberts as heroes is a powerful counterclaim to assertions of black people's inability to do this.
By June of 1918, the men of the 369th are proving themselves in battle as they repel wave after wave of German attack. As they fight with the French, they develop a reputation as fierce trench warriors.